Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. How's it going, everybody? Hope you can hear me. This is Wi-Fi Willie. I am approving my phone right now for two-step verification. But I am here live right now, and we have a big announcement today, which is, hey, we are going to be going live a lot more often, covering the latest news around the entire NFL. Also, my favorite team, the Raiders. And you know what? We have been contemplating, what do we like? And I don't know why I keep saying we. I always do this when I say we, but it is just me. It is just me. And I've been contemplating what to do, what to do with this channel that I've developed over the past 3 years. And I think I figured it out. I think I figured out what I want to do. And mainly this whole live thing, I've really enjoyed doing it, especially during the news cycle. And so this is what I'm going to do. We're still going to have our pre-recorded content, but expect some aspects of this live stream to also be in some of the regular videos. And look, even though the season is about to end right now, there's nonstop stuff happening around the entire NFL. And I think it's going to keep getting crazier. I mean, you got tons of jobs open right now. We know the Patriots just landed Mike Vrabel. Sorry, I got acid reflex. Sorry about that. Cheer me on. And so, yeah, it's going to get really intense over the next few periods. And there's just a lot of weird stuff going on around the NFL. So love to hear from you guys in the chat too, about what you think about any of these stories. Sign up to become a member. I'm also going to be live tomorrow night after the wildcard games. I'll be breaking down the latest stories then. And I'm going to be doing that again Sunday night after the last game. So expect more of these if you guys want to check that out. And you can see from the thumbnail, we're going to talk about Ben Johnson. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Going to talk about couple of former Raiders to Panthers wide receiver. We got to talk about this Eagles fan too. There's a lot going on. Joy Taylor is creeping back into the news as well. So let's freaking go ahead, do this shit. We'll get right into it. And by the way, guys, let me know if there's anything that you think we should talk about, want us to cover during this live stream too. I want this to be a little more interactive than it has been in the past. It's not all Willie, even though the channel is called Wi-Fi Willie. Give me your predictions too. I mean, I think it's quite obvious what's going to happen. The playoffs, I think it tends to get a little bit boring in the NFL because we're getting to the point where is it really going to be surprising who ends up in the Super Bowl? Everybody's going to get their hopes up that there's some type of upset in the playoffs, but really what's going to happen, I think what's inevitable is it's going to be Chiefs versus Lions in the Super Bowl. And to think anything else, I think is actually, it's cute. It's cute. It's like believing the tooth fairy is real, believing Santa Claus is real, believing that all is good in the world. It's cute to really think that it's not going to be Chiefs versus Lions in the Super Bowl. Look, if you've been watching football for a long time, the best team does not always win. These are one possession games, and once it gets towards the end, it's about whatever gets the most ratings. And I've been seeing the NFL hype up the three-peat literally since the Chiefs won last year. We've been hearing about the three-peat. It's been going on and on over again. So I think that with that, we shouldn't be surprised. That's exactly what's going to happen. There is going to be a three-peat, unfortunately, and we are going to see the Chiefs win their third Super Bowl. That's my final prediction. And you know what? As some of you guys who know me, maybe the Chiefs made the right consulting move, bringing in John Gruden during the offseason. Maybe that was enough for them to three-peat there, despite not having a star wide receiver. I think the Lions will put up a good fight, but they'll be in the Super Bowl as well. So unfortunately, Eagles fans, maybe the Commanders beat the Eagles this weekend. I don't know. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Lions are going to the NFC Championship. Maybe the Bills, I think they would be upsetting the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe they do that this weekend, but no. We are going to go ahead and it's going to be a Chiefs Super Bowl. Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens. That's what's going to happen. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I'm sorry to bring you guys down back to reality, but unfortunately, I believe that is what's going to happen. Rams was a nice little upset. I kind of saw that coming since they beat the Vikings earlier in the season, but I don't think there's going to be any major upsets down the road. I would love to see the Rams go to the NFC Championship game or go to the Super Bowl. I actually think the Rams are an interesting team. I like Sean McVay, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we're going to get into the news, and just for those of you guys joining us, major announcement for Wi-Fi Willie, which is, and now that we got more people here, we can go ahead and say, like I've just been, I am just the type of guy, and you guys have probably noticed this with my channel, with making some of these videos. There'll be a bunch of videos sometimes, a bunch of videos not, some super high quality, some not. And, I'm just a type of guy I've realized where I think I just really overthink things. Let's get personal. Let's get therapeutic, as they say, even though I don't have a licensed therapist. Maybe I should buy one, but I just feel like I overthink things a lot. And so I just want to start going live often. Like we said, Saturday night after the games, we're going to do it. Sunday night after the games, we're going to do it. We'll use some of that for our pre-recorded content, but we're still going to be making more pre-recorded content as well. But expect a lot of that to happen. So participation in some of these lives too. You could find yourself clipped up in these videos. Maybe you will be the centerpiece of a video. And maybe I should, before we get into all these stories, maybe I should open up with a kind of more controversial story that has to do with me. I mean, I think when I make this video, I'll be on the thumbnail. And it's about a former Raiders head coach. I think I will save that story for a little bit later. I've been advised to not even talk about what this thing is, but I think I'll save that for a little bit later. It's a funny story. It's nothing too serious. But let's just say we have found out, or clearly somebody who's coached the Raiders recently has watched some Wi-Fi Willie videos. I'll just say that. And I don't think they liked him. I'll just say that. So we will we'll break that down in a little bit. But let's first talk about some of these latest stories. Shout out to everybody here right now. Get the likes up too. Got a good amount of people here. By the way, parts of this might get demonetized. I really do think some of this might be demonetized. We're going to show a lot of clips. We're going to watch a lot of things, and that sometimes gets you into trouble. But I'm just saying, screw it, dude. I don't care. Like I want to, even though the NFL, different companies are probably going to take money from the stream, from the ad revenue. That's what typically happens. I'm willing to take the L on that just to have a good stream. Honestly, that matters more to me. So appreciate all the members and people who have sent super chats before, helping support this stream, just like Jay, Max Crosby to the Packers. I'm sure a lot of people want Max Crosby to join their team. Appreciate you. But things like that help support the stream. And as you guys do watch, and when we do these streams more often, you'll see, like, we're gonna share some stuff. We're gonna take some L's, and if you are a member, some of these streams, and we're gonna keep doing them, dude. Trust me. I'm like, if you guys have seen me for a while, I've been in and out of things, but we're gonna really go hard, and we're gonna stay committed here, rain or sunshine. And some of these streams are gonna be archived for members only. So if you are a member, there's a stream from a day ago, 2 days ago. They're going to be archived for members only because I can't let the public see everything I'm doing here. You guys know that things get raunchy on the Wi-Fi Willie live. Speaking of raunchy, let's get a little crazy right before we get to the first story. Okay. And we're going to start out with more PG stories, and then we'll get freakier later on. And let me know how I'm sounding. You guys are my tech support too. I don't have a staff. So here we go. Let's talk about our...
What do you think when you answer the FaceTime? Like,
oh, already got some issues here. Let's get into our first story of the day. So Caleb Williams was catfished and he was embarrassed in the worst way. And there was this thing that happened to Caleb Williams, which I think was quite cruel. I think this guy had a cruel prank done to him. Keep in mind, Caleb Williams is the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. As most of you know, he wants a dope head coach this year after Matt Eberflus was fired. People think the Bears are maybe going to get an offensive-minded coach, and right now they are in the hunt to grab Ben Johnson, the top head coaching candidate. Caleb Williams, who was on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast, who is the star wide receiver of the Detroit Lions, he spoke recently about how he really wants the Bears to go ahead and grab Ben Johnson.
Part of it. And so if it's, if it's Ben, then,
nigga said.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeez.
if it's not, then it is what it is. Part of it.
So he can't say it explicitly, right? He can't just say, F this, if it's not Ben Johnson, I'm going to be pissed off. But he's doing it in his coy way with his smile, is basically saying, if it's Ben Johnson, he'll be delighted if he's the new head coach of the Bears. If not, it is what it is, which means I am severely disappointed. Now, this very cruel thing happened to Caleb Williams, man. Really, this was really bad. This happened a few days ago, January 10th. Someone named Ben Johnson pranked Caleb Williams as Ben Johnson on his phone and said to Caleb Williams that he got the Bears head coaching job. And he even got Caleb Williams on FaceTime. And this is so cruel, man. The dude fell for it. The dude was, excited to say the least. And it turns out it was a freaking prank. So here you have it here. We'll play the video, but let's just read this at first. Hey, Caleb, you can see hey, Caleb, this is Ben Johnson. Just wanted to reach out ahead of time before it gets released to the media. I will be taking the head coach job. Very excited to work with you in the future. Great things. And then Caleb Williams responds, this is real, by the way. And we're going to get Caleb Williams' reaction to this in a little bit. Actually, Ben, yes, I wanted you to be the first to know. We will talk more as the season winds down. Okay, cool. Sounds good. I'm excited for the future. Let's get this shit going and turn it around and do what hasn't been done in years. In the meantime, effing go kill. We'll talk soon. So this is Caleb Williams' response. You could tell he was all excited. He wrote a paragraph. You could tell he thought it was real. This is cruel, man. Cruel stuff.
Oh my God.
You got it? Hey, Caleb, it's me, Ben Johnson.
Come to the Dolphins, bro.
No, shut up. Hey, you're a great QB, but I'm so glad that you're gonna get a new head coach. I don't know if it's Ben Johnson, but I'm sorry about this.
All good. Peace out.
Hey, the nails are tough.
Ooh, that's how you can tell Caleb Williams is pissed. It's all good, and then quickly says peace out.
Coach, I don't know if it's Ben Johnson, but I'm sorry about this.
All good. Peace out.
Hey, the nails are tough.
You're a GOAT, bro. You're a GOAT.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to let this slide a little bit because these are clearly young men. I would say maybe max age 20, maybe 18, 19 if I had to guess, perhaps 17, 16. I don't know. But I'm going to let this slide. If this was a dude in his 30s doing this, pulling a prank on Caleb Williams, pretending he's Ben Johnson to FaceTime with him, then that would be bad. Then that would be cringe. Then I would not be down. But these are younger guys, so I'm going to let that slide. But that is so jacked up. You can see the disappointment in Caleb Williams' face. Boom, gets on the phone, sees it's this freaking kid, and wow. It literally sees that it's this dude, Ben Johnson, about 3 decades younger than Ben Johnson, totally catfishing the guy. And this is at least not as bad as the Manti Te'o catfish, where he had a fake relationship with, at the time, a man who was pretending to be a woman. Not that bad of a football catfish, but still pretty bad for Caleb Williams. And that just sucks because the dude was getting his hopes up about this possibility. And now we're learning it's a complete prank. It wasn't legitimate. And I mean, that kind of sucks. And he reacted to this on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast, talking about it.
What do you think when you answered the FaceTime? Like, what was
I
going
was
through your
just
head?
like I was trying not to flip out because I didn't want to.
Right.
I knew they were probably recording, so
Yeah.
I was trying to keep my cool. But when I got off the phone, I was fuming. I wanted to like smash some shit. I was fuming.
I would have been hot too. I'd have been hot. Not even that they did that, but the fact that
If-
everyone like saw it, I'll be like, fuck.
Yeah. I like low key. Like if they weren't recording, like I wouldn't have been that hot. Like I wouldn't have been fuming. But I knew that they were recording. I knew it was about to be posted, and I was
Right.
just like, now I got to go through a whole new number. I got to deal with all the people.
Ooh.
Be mad as shit.
I did not even think about that. He has to go through a whole new number. That totally slipped my mind. He had to change his phone number. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this. I've experienced this. Dude, when you change your phone number, it's a complete nightmare for you. Try changing your phone number and see how easily you can log into your accounts, your email accounts, your YouTube accounts. Oh, dude, it is a complete shit show when you change your phone number. And this is Caleb Williams, man. You got fans who have access to his phone number because of this. So I did not even think about that. I thought the FaceTime was maybe through like Instagram or something, but that is pretty sketchy. And obviously he was fuming there because they wasted his time and they got his hopes up, and it was smart of him. This is how you know that Caleb Williams, what we always knew about him is he was ready for the NFL when it comes to PR. He was already thinking right when he answered the phone, found out it was a prank, his heart dropped. Boom. These dudes are recording this. Anything I do will be on X, will be on YouTube, will be on social media. I got to play it cool. So Caleb Williams is showing his ability to think ahead here.
People gonna be laughing at me because I wasn't locked in the moment.
I just want to say I'm sorry. I feel like it was part of me. So
No, it's
next
all
time,
good.
you know, I learned my lesson,
but
like,
like on the bright side, I got a new number, so nobody has my number.
right.
So
Maybe I should get a new number too. Who knows? I've been
Yeah.
having the same number since I got a phone. I was like,
yeah.
damn.
No, that's the same thing I had. Same thing. Same situation.
What do you think when you
man.
answered
So
the face?
at least he was able to figure it out now that people have access to this dude's phone number. But sad for Caleb Williams, disappointed, tried to not flip out once he found out that Ben Johnson was not the one texting him. Caleb Williams has said he wants an offensive-minded head coach, and this was after he talked about getting pranked about this Ben Johnson situation. And yeah, he wanted to smash some stuff. He was fuming. And when it comes to what the Bears are doing right now, they're interviewing several candidates. We know Ben Johnson is one of them who they obviously are targeting right now. So Ben Johnson's on the list, and Aaron Glenn for the Bears. They've also talked to or interviewed Mike McCarthy, Pete Carroll, Ron Rivera, defensive coordinator of the Vikings, former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores, and also the interim head coach Thomas Brown, who, let's just be real, the interim's probably not going to get the job. I mean, let's just be real. It's gonna be a big splash hire. They definitely need to pump up their fan base, and they need to spend a lot of money there. So that's what they're looking at. If they don't get Ben Johnson, you have to start thinking, what are the Bears going to do if they do not get Ben Johnson? Because it's coming down to the wire where it seems like the Raiders might be the team getting Ben Johnson. And so what are the Chicago Bears going to do? What is Caleb Williams going to do? It's going to be tough, honestly. I don't really know what their main, especially their fan base. I don't really know what the main backup plan is there for them. And I don't know if Caleb Williams has talked publicly about any other head coach that he would be interested in. It's going to be a big deal for him, especially if they get somebody who's really high caliber. So I think if the Bears get Ben Johnson, then that actually puts more pressure on Caleb Williams, because then fans could say, look, dude, we got you. If he doesn't do well, they could say, look, dude, we got you the best head coaching candidate in the NFL. You're still not doing well. This is kind of on you, right? Because it's no doubt that Jaden Daniels passed Caleb Williams this year when it comes to being the best quarterback rookie of the year. Now, is that because Jaden Daniels is in a better situation? Dan Quinn obviously was not fired. That's some good news. Maybe that's the case. Maybe coaching is the problem. That's what you're going to rely on if you're Caleb Williams. Comparing him to not even Jaden Daniels, let's just take a look at like Bo Nix. You got Broncos fans defending Bo Nix, saying that Caleb Williams didn't have a better season than Bo Nix. Well, Bo Nix had Sean Payton. Caleb Williams didn't exactly have Sean Payton, but each have 17 games. Completion percentage worse. Passing yards worse. Yards per attempt worse. Yards per game worse. Passing touchdowns worse. But interceptions, Caleb Williams has less interceptions than Bo Nix, but a worse quarterback rating. And I'm shocked to see this. Pretty much the same amount of yards. You know, Bo Nix has less rushing yards than Caleb Williams, but it's pretty much the same amount. And then you also have 0 rushing touchdowns. I could have swore Caleb Williams had a rushing touchdown this year. That's crazy. I mean, that's what we all thought would happen. Red zone rushing touchdowns with Caleb Williams, but that did not happen at all. But what a nasty prank, man. I don't know. I don't know what else is going to happen there. Literally the only interview. And then Caleb Williams already had enough pressure last year because he was memed up. The painted nails. The fact that he does the painted nails thing, which look, I don't really care if somebody paints their nails. That's on you. As a football fan, all you care about is if somebody is good on the football field. Who cares about their fashion? Whatever kind of fashion they're getting into, right? But Caleb Williams already had this pressure, and this is already you got these AI memes saying Caleb Williams getting ready for next year. Will his nails be fresh enough? And that is a pretty realistic AI image there of Caleb Williams doing some nail painting there. Now, there is somebody that I've been saying. The Bears should go after. There is somebody. And we've mentioned this before. We had a video get a lot of attention because of this. But you got John Gruden, who's talked about Caleb Williams and how he would fix him. He had this viral moment on Part of My Take talking about him and the Bears.
Leaders. The defensive leaders, the 8 or 9 of our football team. And we're going to get behind this quarterback, and we got to spread that news downstairs and publicly. But we got to make this guy a great player. He is going to be a hell of a player unless we screw it up.
Right.
Let's be honest with you. You've had a lot of guys come through here, but this guy's a unique talent. And right now, he needs support, man, and he needs it the most from his coach and the blue-chip leaders that we have on the team. Now, I don't know.
So Gruden, obviously he's going to be interviewed, asked about all these teams. He's spoken highly of Caleb Williams. And here's what I think. If the Bears, and we saw their candidates who they're interviewing, nobody has interviewed John Gruden yet. Maybe that will change soon. But when you look at who the Bears are interviewing right now, if they don't get Ben Johnson, Mike McCarthy is the next best option if you want to deliver on Caleb Williams having an offensive-minded coach. That's the number one priority for the Bears. They have to have an offensive-minded coach. Well, if you don't get Ben Johnson, and we're going to talk more about that, if you don't get Ben Johnson, your best bet for an offensive-minded coach is then Mike McCarthy. You could kick the tires on maybe Pete Carroll, Ron Rivera, even though Ron Rivera is more of a defensive guy. Other than that, you got defensive dudes in Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores. So, and then also they did interview college quarterback Marcus Freeman and also Matt Campbell. And they also tried to interview Mike Vrabel, but obviously Vrabel took the Patriots job. So if you're the Bears, I'm being completely serious here. I understand not wanting to deal with the stigma of John Gruden, I think that's unfair and that sucks for him, but that's a real thing that's going to be an impediment to him getting a job. Even though I don't think there should be any stigma. We'll talk more about that later. We talked so much about that. But if you're the Bears and you don't get Ben Johnson, Mike McCarthy's your best bet for an offensive coach, and then you can get one of these old coaches who are going to be replaced, honestly, in 2 years max. Ron Rivera, he doesn't excite me. I think the next best bet for the Bears is John Gruden, and I'm being completely serious about that. Like it's not even just me as a Raiders fan, just a big fan of the former head coach. Just objectively, if you're looking for an offensive minded coach, there really is nobody else available besides Mike McCarthy. I would say go with Mike McCarthy first, and I think that's probably what they're thinking. We still don't know if Mike McCarthy. We don't know what he wants. Obviously, he's out of Dallas now. They kind of pushed him out. There's still a chance he can go back to Dallas. That's not out of the realm of possibility. And who knows? Maybe the franchise for the Bears, maybe the fans get more excited about John Gruden compared to somebody like Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy just failed recently. Gruden's kind of in the media and very exciting to a lot of football fans. So, we're talking about painting nails, man. I think John Gruden. I think we need John Gruden to roll through with Caleb Williams, and Gruden's going to be so excited to coach this guy. Gruden might start painting his nails too, as well. Gruden might join him with the nail polish and coach this number 1 overall pick quarterback, something that John Gruden's not been able to do. He's really never coached a prospect that has been drafted this high. He really hasn't had the opportunity to do that. So that would be very exciting to see. And I think that's a big time possibility for Mr. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, and he was catfish, man. He was catfished hard there. Hard. That was so jacked up, dude. To play with somebody's emotions like that. We're sports fans. We're emotional guys, right? When it comes to sports, and how dare you get my hopes up like that? And how did they get his phone number? Dude, please do not get my, you know what? That's how you know you're important. That's how you know you're important, when somebody is able to get your phone number. Somebody's able to get your phone number. That's how you know that in some ways you've made it, baby. You got people taking your phone number. All right, so more stuff going on. This is an absolutely wild story. This went insanely viral. An Eagles fan berating and harassing a woman who is a Green Bay Packers fan at this recent playoff game. This guy went absolutely viral, lost his job. There is tons of repercussions too. People are reacting and commenting on the situation who were there. We're going to break it down. This was crazy. 31 million views. And let me also point out, though, that the guy who captured this on video is a daily Green Bay Packers content creator, Alexander Basara. And he filmed this, that his fiance was getting berated by this guy. What's it like going to Philly just trying to root for your team? Unprovoked, uncalled for. Packers Twitter, help me out and find this guy. This is not okay. I hate that my fiance had this happen, simply cheering for her team. So it's his fiance. He's a content creator. He filmed this. He clipped it up. He knew it was going to go viral. Let's take a look at his let's take a look at some of his content. I mean, this guy is a decent, this guy's like a good level content creator, almost pretty much 60,000 subscribers. He's going out daily making videos. He's making serious videos a lot. You can see that it's multiple times a week. So this guy is a real Green Bay Packers content creator. I would say that he probably makes a living doing this full time. I would say this is probably his full-time thing. Just guessing here. He's doing live streams too. Yeah, this guy is really in the zone. So, all right, guys. I mean, I'm cynical, but I always think people are doing things for clout. Did he exaggerate this? We're gonna hear his reaction and also the defense's reaction too. But this is what this guy did. Eagles fan harasses Packers fan woman at game. Oh, wow, you can see it here. What?
They got one more yard, though. They're close.
Okay. So this is pretty crazy. He calls her an ugly, dumb cunt. He's not like he called her an ugly, dumb cunt, but he also said it to the husband, fiance, the guy. He says it to the guy. And I almost feel like this dude is trying to start something with the guy way more than he's harassing the woman. Now, him harassing the woman went absolutely viral, but he's clearly trying to start a fight with the dude. And he's directing his attention at the dude saying, what are you going to do about it? She's an ugly, dumb cunt. What are you going to do about it, bitch? I think he does. So... And so this dude's trying to start a fight. I mean, and starting a fight at a game is just like, especially when you're this old, it's just like, dude, what problems do you have in your life where you're literally trying to have like a high school throwdown, like you're at recess on the courtyard when you're like in your 60s at a football game? And look, this dude's clearly younger than the guy yelling. If the young dude knocked him out, then he would be considered cruel because he's beating up on a old dude, right? Older dude. I mean, this guy's not even super old, I would say. You know, he's past middle age, right? He's not exactly like a grandpa, right? But the dude's clearly trying to start stuff. He's with friends. This dude is a husband with just his wife, you could tell. He's a content creator, though, and you got to watch out when you're beefing with these content creators because he filmed the thing and had it go absolutely viral, starting an investigation to find this guy. Now, there's been some things, and let me find it, because I believe they were interviewed for this. They speaked out. Oh yeah, here we go.
So we were meeting up with.
We got this, and let me see. Okay, and you can
Financial
see.
Field Sun.
Let's check this out. So the general story, all over, man. You could just this is like rapid fire, and then this happened just this past weekend during the games.
The runner was short of the goal line. This viral video from Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Field Sunday captures the moment trash talk took a turn. The Eagles now banning that fan from the team stadium for life after he unleashed this vulgar tirade.
It wasn't about the game either. Like, he was making personal jabs at me.
Green Bay Packers fans alley.
Whoa, so the dude has been banned for life. And he's been fired for his job. We'll break down him being fired from his job and his reaction, but the dude's been banned for life. Now, I don't know what your guys' opinion is about this, but I understand him being banned. Okay, he harassed people at the game. I understand him being banned for sure, but do they ban everybody who gets into a fight at these football games, at these NFL games? I don't think so. I mean, I've seen or else people wouldn't do it all the time. And I'm constantly seeing videos of brawls in the stands. And I'm talking about videos where people are bruised up, blood up, all this stuff. And I really hope that we get the identities of all those people who are actually physically harming people and that they are banned from these games. If we're going to ban this guy for life for a offensive tirade, harassment, verbally though, not physically, he was threatening. I believe he was threatening to get physical. But if they're going to find this guy's identity, ban him from life, get rid of him and his job, if they're going to do all that, I really hope the media, the NFL, these teams are going to do the same thing for people who are getting into physical, like really going after it in front of kids and stuff at these games, which we see every single week. We'll see it again this week. We will see it again this week. A nasty brawl in front of kids and families at these games. And it's so trashy. It's so shitty to see, honestly, because it makes it harder for families to go to these games.
This vulgar tirade.
It wasn't about the game either. Like, he was making personal jabs at me.
Green Bay Packers fans Ali Keller and Alex Becerra posted this video on X, which now has some 30 million views. The couple speaking out to NBC Philadelphia. Alex said he started recording on a camera he brought to the stadium once tensions began escalating.
He just kept saying some of the same things, so I turned around, we ignored him, and it just continued throughout the entire game and got worse and worse.
They say personal insults followed.
Actually, you're not even good looking enough to be talking to me. And then I said, what does that mean? And he said, you know what that means. And so I said, have you looked in the mirror yourself? And he said, yeah, but I'm a man. I'm allowed to be ugly. You're a woman.
Oh my God. I'm a man. I am allowed to be ugly. So he admitted he was ugly. At least he admitted he was ugly. Look, I know I look like complete shit, but I have a penis. So I am allowed to look like complete shit. And what's really crazy about all this, what was going on before the record button was pressed? That's what we're all wondering. These people are saying that they decided to get the camera out after they knew things were getting crazy. Clearly, this has been going on for some time during the game. I've assumed this is in the second half, so who knows what was happening in the first half of the game. Were these people, look, because I'm going to be a neutral guy. Were these people getting a little crazy before the game? Yeah, I'm not going to just assume they're all angels. Now, he's a lovely content creator just like myself, so I assume he's just a complete angel. Haha, I'm being sarcastic. But you never know. You never know, man.
There's all Eagles fans allowing this to happen. So I didn't want to turn around and yell at this guy and then have my fiance get jumped in the crowd.
Becerra.
Exactly. And you know what, dude? This is what pisses me off is because dudes who, like, when people chirp like this the hardest, they're with other dudes. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to jump him because it's not like he's going to go one-on-one and be fair. And that's exactly what's going to happen. If this dude in the Packers beanie here gets a little heated at him, then he's going to get jumped, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yell at this
Do you think the old dude's going to play fair?
guy and then have my fiance get jumped in the crowd.
Becerra is a content creator who runs a Packers-focused YouTube channel.
I've been to 20 plus stadiums, and it's normally like that. Eagles is a little bit more harsh sometimes, but it's all in playful fun.
Consulting firm BCT Partners that specializes in equity and DEI services identifying the fan in the video as employee Ryan Caldwell and says that he's been let go from the firm.
Whoa, so this dude who was saying, oh, I could be ugly because I'm a man and you're a freaking ugly ass woman and you should be hotter because you're a chick. This dude who's saying all this sexist shit, let's just be real, super sexist shit. This dude works for a DEI firm. It cannot write. Oh my God. The jokes can't write himself. So hypocrisy, dude. We know how that happens a lot in this world these days. And there you have it. This is like the classic story of the most lovely woke man ends up being like the biggest creeper. You know, the guy who's like, I respect women, I'm a feminist. Then he ends up being like a big time creep. This is like pretty much that. But instead, this guy who works for the DEI firm is out there saying just super sexist shit at these football games. Maybe this is how he lets it out. He has to be super, working for the DEI thing throughout the week at this firm. And then he has to have this cathartic, like, sexist output on the weekends. And that's what he does. He's like, you know what, dude? I've been helping all these women get all these jobs who aren't qualified in the name of DEI. I'm going to go to an Eagles game in Philadelphia and just yell at some bitches, dude. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip into these, or as he says, rip into these cunts. Can you even say that on YouTube? Am I going to get in trouble here?
BCT Partners that specializes in equity and DEI services identifying the fan in the video as employee Ryan Caldwell and says that he's been let go from the firm. Caldwell now apologizing in a statement to NBC News, writing, "I said things that were unacceptable. In the heat of the moment, I chose unforgiving words to address one of the fans, Miss Allie Keller. I want to sincerely apologize to Miss Keller for those."
Dude, this is like so funny when people release the apology. Like, you know, he does not mean that. This dude is trying to get a job. This dude is broke now. He's going to have to go ahead and file for unemployment if he can get it. I said some things that were unacceptable, and I want to sincerely apologize to this lovely cunt.
Words. Adding, "The video clip circulating online does not reflect the full context of what transpired, and my actions were not without provocation."
Oh, and there you go. A little bit of defense. The clip that's circulating online does not reflect the full thing. So this guy is saying that he was provoked by these Packers fans. I want to see this guy release the full story. Release the transcript. Release the files, dude. Release the Eagles fan files.
The full context of what transpired, and my actions were not without provocation. As for Packers fans Alex and Allie, who live just an hour from the stadium, this trip to the Eagles' home turf appears to be their last.
And I don't think we'll go to Philly again.
All right, Sam Brock joins us tonight.
Okay,
So,
you're
Sam,
a Packers
we're
fan.
hearing
You're not going to Philly anyways. Oh, so you got
What happened?
So the guy was fired. The Eagles fan was fired, and then you have the founder of the company he works for. What troubles me is his behavior, but what also troubles me is the cancel culture that we live in that doesn't afford people grace, that we don't have the opportunity to be better people and learn from our mistakes. Whoa. So this guy who runs this DEI firm, from what we know, who employs the Eagles fan who ripped into this woman, he's saying that this guy's a victim of cancel culture, and we're not allowing a full investigation, and we're not allowing for him to be forgiven, is what he is saying. So that is a kind of a bold thing here. I did not expect this guy to go out there and defend his former employee. Usually what these people do, they're cold-blooded. They let you go and say, screw you, I'm going to act like I don't know you. But Randall Pinkett is going out there and kind of defending his former employee, defending this Eagles fan. And there's an element, I mean, just to be charitable to him, we don't know the full story. And there is this thing that happens these days in the world where if you have a clip go viral and you look bad, and you could be a regular person going into a McDonald's, who knows what happened before somebody pressed record, but if you look bad, you could lose your job and essentially ruin your life. And that is a new thing that we really didn't have when I was in high school. Really Facebook, YouTube, recording on your phone, all this stuff is very new, right? I sound like an old person. Oh, this is so different than before. But seriously though, it is very new. And this is a new thing where people are getting clips of them taken out of potentially taken out of context. This could just be, if I had to guess, I would assume that it's not taken much out of context and the guy was being a piece of shit. And that's kind of just that. And I would assume he was being a piece of shit before they press record. But you never know. You never know. You never know if it's taken out of context. And I think that's what they're getting at here. And that's kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy that we seen this happen. This Packers content creator, is he getting hella views? I just hope this dude's getting a shitload of views on his channel after this. Let's see. So this video came out this Sunday, I believe. So the 12th. So let's see if his views, and dude, if I was him, I'd be making videos about this. He hasn't made a video being like, I am the guy in this viral video. Here's the full story. He should be milking this shit for views, baby. Come on. Did he even make an Eagles post game? Like a recap of the game? I don't even see a recap of the Eagles game. So this guy's been slacking. Oh, film review. He did a film study. Here we go. So hopefully he's getting more views because of this. Oh, here we go. Yeah. He should do a film study of the fan yelling at his fiance. We need that. We need that for show. That's wild though, dude. Lost his job, lost everything. Let me see. I think there may be one more thing. There might be one more thing here. Oh, okay. Nothing too crazy. The guy will be banned from future Eagles games. The Eagles will be sending the women Packers gear as an apology. Eagles once again showing what class they have. Oh, so this just NFL fans want disgusting Eagles fan banned for life. Okay, once that happens, you are cooked. Once that happens, you are donezo. You are donezo there. Yeah, is this the first time we've seen an Eagles fan be an asshole? Weren't they yelling at Commanders fans recently? Who's that one dude? Wasn't there that one dude who went around like picking fights with people? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Was he Eagles or was he something else? I'm gonna figure that stuff. Eagles fan. Let me see if there's who was that dude who was arrested? He was like seriously arrested. Oh, Ravens fan. Ravens fan. Okay. Because it's not all just one fan base. I mean, fans in Philadelphia take their football seriously, but there was this dude who what was that? Yeah, because it's not just the Eagles fan base. There was the drunk Ravens fan who's now facing 55 years prison sentence after going after Commanders fans. This dude was like straight up walking down the street, looking to throw down with fans. Let me try to find this dude, because I remember this one was pretty crazy. Oh, yeah. And so this guy, insane. His name is Jack Callis. And in December, he was in jail awaiting trial after going after those two Commanders fans. And he was on that coca. He was on that white. He was on that white girl. And some booze, of course. Isn't that just the recipe? That is literally like the recipe that you can look up on goodrecipes.com. How do I get arrested for potential? I can't even say the word. How do I get arrested for violence tonight? Oh yeah. Let's mix this combo. Let's mix this white with this liquid courage, right? And here's the video of the dude. This dude. So this dude, I mean, he's definitely going to be banned for life. This guy may be going to jail. We'll see what the update is. But this one was the craziest thing.
Do we got a straggler? Do we got straggler? Do we got straggler? Do we got straggler?
Okay, I might not be able to show this.
Do we got a straggler? I don't lose.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So this dude is literally running around in this dude in his Lamar Jackson jersey is running around. And by the way, this was after the Eagles won, right? This was after the Ravens, my bad. This was after the Ravens won against the Commanders. So it's like, dude, your team won. Like, I understand, like, I don't even understand. You should never do this. This behavior is completely unacceptable. But okay, you're pissed off about the fact that I could see you're pissed off about the fact that your team lost. You're gonna starting some shit with other people. This is not that. His team won, and he is still going after these poor Commanders fans. And he's like, dude, he is much bigger than them. Obviously, he's not picking on some guys his own size. He's literally chasing these dudes around and pointing them out, calling them over, and they're trying to avoid this, man. 2-on-1, but this guy, they didn't think he was that big of a psycho, and yes, he was. Yikes. So this dude clearly should be banned for life. And what was his name again? Let's go find, just to get a let's get a legal update on this guy. Okay, I need to quit looking at this other screen. My neck is starting to hurt. Oh, the dude, is this dude's Instagram? Oh, let's see. Let's see what's the latest on him. Okay. We got the latest on this dude. Horrifying. Judge makes major ruling in horrifying Ravens attack case. That video we just watched, which is like the stupidest video ever. First degree aggravated assault and second degree up to 55 years. Wow. So the major ruling that happened, the judge, what was presented during the bail hearing, instead of using the time to tell me what's new and what's available, it was just a cat fight today, blah, blah, blah. So the office is committed to ensuring justice. Repeat offenders cannot create chaos and violence unchecked in our streets. Is this guy a repeat offender? It sounds like it. And he will now remain behind bars until he goes to trial or some kind of plea agreement is reached. So this dude is straight up in jail right now because this has not gone to trial. I mean, I searched his name, and if it was, oh, he's due back in court February 3rd. So this dude has been in jail since December 4th. So he's straight up 2 months in jail, no bail because he's considered a danger to the public after doing that. So the whole point of bringing him up is it's not just Eagles fans who are acting bad at these games. Yikes. So we got more stories that we're gonna break down. Let me know, are you guys enjoying this live setup we got going on? You guys digging this, baby? We got more crap to talk about, serious stuff. We talked about the Caleb Williams thing a little bit earlier. We talked about this Eagles fan, and we got some more stuff. We definitely got some more stuff to get into. I wanted to first, you like the live streams, and we will be live again Saturday night. Saturday night, we will be live. So check that out. In just 1 second, guys. One second. Okay. All right, so Saturday night, we got it going. Sunday night, too. What time does the final game end Saturday night? Before we get into some of our news stories, we're going to get into... Oh, dude, so we're going to have a late night stream tomorrow. So 8:30, probably 9 o'clock. Probably 9 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be doing it. And that's what's going to be going down. That's what's going to be going down. So 9 o'clock should be very fun. And then we'll be a little bit earlier on Sunday, thankfully. I don't got to stay up too late, even though I stay up late anyways, honestly. Hell yeah. Shout out to the members in the chat. Shout out to Timberline. And I really wanted to talk about this story. I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. I don't even know if it's the right story to bring up. It's a dumb story. It's pretty dumb, honestly. Let me see what else. Let me make sure I got it. And it's actually kind of gross. I'm going to be real. This is a gross story. And if you are sensitive to seeing gross things, I would caution. I would caution. You know what I mean? So this was so disgusting. Let me find it. Okay. All right, cool. Dude, so you guys think I would type fast? Okay. I like that.
What's your
So the Panthers star wide receiver, the rookie Xavier Legette, is into some pretty weird foods, and it's reached a crazy point, man. Like, oof, it's getting insane. I can't even believe what I'm about to show you, but he's talked about some of his favorite rodents that he likes to eat.
What's your hottest food take? So, like, is there something weird that you like to eat or something you don't like to eat that you can never eat that most people would eat?
Well, y'all probably seen that video when I tell them folks I eat coon, I eat raccoon.
You what? Where do you even get that? You got to hunt it or what?
I hunt it, I kill it, I skin them, cook them, eat them, all that.
So when's the last time you had a raccoon?
Thanksgiving.
You killed the raccoon or you?
Thanksgiving. Well, all of us are eating turkey on Thanksgiving. Xavier Legette is eating raccoon, bro. And this, well, you're going to see in a second, dude. This is bad.
You
Now,
found
my cousins, all my people, them hunting and all that. So my cousins, them, they killed it. They called me like, yeah, we got that coon. We
got
get
that
around
coon.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
That sounds crazy. We got that
Yeah.
coon.
Yeah. So, wait, what does it taste like?
It got its own taste. You know, everybody try to say stuff taste like cheese.
Uh-huh.
But that coon got its own taste, though.
What else? What else you eat? That's weird.
I eat squirrel.
Squirrel?
Squirrel. I've heard of that. People eat squirrel.
Okay.
I eat rabbit.
Rabbit. Now you just eat little shit.
Okay,
You just like
rabbit is a little
extraordinary
more
shit
normal.
in the forest and
Slightly
shit.
more.
This nigga just like squirrels, rabbits.
Just the little shit that runs around the forest. Like,
y'all
Boy, come to my city and try all this stuff. I'm telling y'all, y'all gonna like it. Though.
okay, what city is that?
The thing is, like, this guy has money now. He has a second round pick contract. This dude has money and doesn't really need to be eating this way anymore. But Xavier Legette, however you like to pronounce it, he's been one of the funnier players since he was drafted, just because he's got that country accent. He doesn't think he's that country,
said
though.
that he has been demoted to the second most country Panthers player. How does it feel to take over the #1 spot right there?
Oh, man, I really and truly, man, I don't even think I'm country, man. That's what a lot of folks like to say. Man. I think I speak regular.
I think I speak regular. Dude, this dude is Boomhauer. He is straight up Boomhauer, how this dude talks. I mean, I freaking love it.
Good food. I'm a picky eater, so I just hope they got something I can eat.
They have good chocolate.
I don't eat candy like this.
But what are your no-goes? You say you're a picky eater. What are your no-goes?
Yeah, I don't eat seafood. I don't eat like peppers and onions and all that.
So he doesn't like vegetables and seafood, but raccoon's cool. Are you kidding me?
I don't really eat vegetables like this.
What? Do you eat like pizza?
Yeah, and like I just started eating asparagus. I eat like string beans and green peas. But
that's not a
it.
surprise. Do they have to be cooked
reason.
in bacon grease? Do they have to be cooked in bacon grease?
No. That ain't like that.
Pasta?
Yeah, I eat some pasta.
Okay.
Yeah, I eat some pasta.
Chicken, steak, all the regular stuff.
Yeah, all
no
the regular.
seafood though?
No, I'm allergic.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll give.
Okay, so he's allergic to seafood, but not raccoon.
Saturday today, man, it's gonna be that coon, man. My cousin, they called me last night, told me they killed the coon 2 days ago. They took the clothes off and everything, washed them up. Yeah, we about to dive into that today, man.
Come on, man. Shout out to you, man. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Dude, he is happy. Like, he is stoked to eat raccoon. I mean, if I was eating raccoon, I'm at below poverty. I can't even qualify for food stamps at this point. Like, I am just like at the edge. That's what I would need. I would need to be starving to death and anorexic before I put a raccoon in my body. But Xavier Legette, no problem. And dude, this is, if you are sensitive, be careful looking at this one. This is what this dude did. While we were enjoying the playoffs, Xavier Legette has a video here. He took the squirrel out of the tree and quote unquote took the clothes off of him. And he is literally about to eat the squirrel. He posted this on social media.
I think they think we really be faking when we say we do this. We done bust the squirrel out the tree and open them up. Know what I'm talking about? Take the clothes off. That's step one. I'm gonna show y'all the rest of what it is.
No. But this dude is going too far, bro. And he's posting videos of this shit. He literally is, and could that squirrel have rabies or some type of disease or something? But this dude is grabbing squirrels out of the tree and eating it. Dude, Xavier Legette, let's take a look. You don't gotta live this way, bro. You don't have to live this way, Xavier Legette. Let's take a look at this guy's contract. 2nd round pick out of South Carolina, 23 years old. He has a 4-year contract of $12 million. Xavier Legette. You make $2.8 million a year plus some extra change. So you're basically making $3 million a year, buddy. You do not have to eat squirrel anymore. You do not have to do that.
We really be faking when we
tell. You can tell by his lips here. Like, he loves it. He is stoked off this. He's licking his lips, stoked to have a nice bite of that squirrel. But dude, so squirrel is fine, but when it comes to German food, Xavier Legette's not totally on board.
I had some chicken wings. Do I need to cook it? Let me try. Okay. I like that one.
Not as good as squirrel.
Do you have any food since you arrived?
I had some chicken wings. They had a little different taste to them. Like y'all use a different twang of barbecue sauce. But they right here, I like it right here.
I love this guy, dude. He could eat every squirrel in the world as long as we get more videos from Xavier Legette. Anybody who is seriously eating squirrel in the chat? Let me know. I want to know who has seriously done it. Don't freaking lie to me. I could always tell when somebody's lying. I've had people on here lie and say they're foot doctors. Oh God. Okay, so let's talk about some cool stuff. Some people saying they would try it. So we at least have an open-minded chat. We have an open-minded chat. Exactly. If the food prices continue to go up and we don't make $3 million a year like Xavier Legette, and by the way, that's before taxes, then I understand it. But when we are just like normal people or when we make $3 million a year, like Xavier Legette, I mean, how could this be happening? How could this be happening? This is a little insane to me. But we got some interesting stuff happening right now. We're pulling some stuff up. Let me make sure I got everything here. But this is going to be the big one. This is going to be the big one, baby. This is going to be the big one. Let's see that. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. All right. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So we got a lot of people who are just like anything that's kind of natural, and so you're open to squirrel. Yikes. Okay, there it is. Making sure I got the right thing, bruh. Making sure I got the right thing, bruh. Bruh. Boom, boom, boom. We're just gonna take our time. That way we make sure. And this is how these live streams are gonna go. Where we're hanging out, dude, and we're not super fast paced, but we'll be live for. We've been live for what, an hour? We'll be live for another hour, maybe even 2. I don't know. And it really depends what's going on. Like if there's more talk about interesting stuff happening, then we got to break it down, right? Make sure we got everything though. Oh yeah, that story. People talking about squirrel season over here. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought Josh McDaniel said something. Okay, no. All right. So we'll get into this new story that I'm sure many of you guys are primarily interested in here. So, by the way, guys, get the likes up. Everybody hanging out. Hanging out, everybody. Don't worry, I'm Wi-Fi Willie. I'm a great guy. Okay. So, the Raiders head coaching search is getting insane right now. And it's getting to the point where, despite the fact that they do not have a franchise quarterback, the Raiders look in line to be getting their probably best offseason move since they traded for Devontae Adams in 2022. Raiders could be getting Ben Johnson, and Bears fans and the media are absolutely flipping out about the fact that the Raiders could be landing Ben Johnson thanks to Tom Brady having a minority ownership and some sway with Ben Johnson.
My team needs a coach. Your team needs a coach. Now the Cowboys need a coach. And there's a guy out there in Ben Johnson who's the hottest candidate. So 60 seconds on the clock. Please start it on the crazy reports on Ben Johnson apparently wanting to go work for Tom Brady and the Vegas Raiders. Listen. There's way too much smoke around this. See all the headlines that are out there, and I'm like, okay, I can dismiss it. It's off a beat reporter that's locally. I subscribe to The Athletic. They're great. Pro Football Talk, maybe they're aggregating the same report. And then Ian Rappaport comes out and drops a nuke and says there does seem to be an acknowledgement that Ben Johnson is the leading candidate for the Raiders job. He goes on to say, and it's expected that he will accept the job. The Bears want him. Everybody wants him. Dallas wants him. I get believing in yourself. I get believing that you can overcome any mountain, climb to the summit, all that. But if he chooses, after passing up the Washington job, turning down interviews.
Keep in mind, the reason why this is such a big deal is because Ben Johnson's the hottest head coaching candidate in so long. Rejected the Commanders job. Rejected, allegedly, the Panthers job. When you reject one of these head coaching jobs, that means you got some swagger. That means you know people want you. You can literally turn down one of these rare head coaching opportunities. There are old dudes out there who would do anything to be an NFL head coach. They would go full Joy Taylor to be an NFL head coach. And Ben Johnson has turned this down, and now he looks to be interested in the Raiders, and people who are Bears fans in the media are flipping out.
Turning down interviews to not work with Caleb Williams and say, I want to go against Harbaugh, Peyton and Reed, Herbert, Nixon, Mahomes for a 4-win team that had no quarterback. There's confidence, and then there's delusion. If Ben Johnson chooses to go to the Raiders, I will then be glad that he didn't go to the Bears. And to be clear, I badly want you to coach the Bears, but if you choose the Raiders, you're insane.
So this guy is absolutely heated. If you choose the Raiders, you are insane. And part of the reasons being Raiders don't have a quarterback right now. Raiders are in a tougher division, and I would say a tougher conference than the Chicago Bears, who are in the NFC North, although the Vikings and the Lions are looking tough, just like the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs are as well. This is getting people to flip out, and we still don't know for sure if Ben Johnson is going to be the head coach of the Raiders or the Bears. We do know that he's taken some interviews. We really got to wait until they're knocked out of the playoffs before he makes any decision. The Lions, once they're knocked out of the playoffs, he could then go interview in person. He hasn't interviewed anywhere in person, just virtually with the Raiders and the Bears.
Because if you are Ben Johnson, and we just talked about Ben Johnson passing up Washington, you pass up Washington and you could wind up taking the Raiders job. As we mentioned, Ben Johnson's going to be a head coach. Ben Johnson has earned that right. But if he takes the Raiders job, he's now going to a division where the head coaches are Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh, and the quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix, and Justin Herbert.
They're all good.
And you're going to a team that doesn't even have a quarterback, doesn't have a draft pick to go land a quarterback, and has to find a way somehow to get a quarterback. So good luck with that. Like, again,
I mean, it is a valid point. I'm a Raiders fan, but that's a valid point, which is like, look, if you want to have success and get to the playoffs instantly, Jags in the NFC South and the Saints in the NFC South, probably going to be easier path. Bears may be easier than, than the Raiders because you are still in the NFC. I would say that. Obviously, if you're in the same division as the Chiefs, that's going to be a complete nightmare. However, when you're talking about all these head coaches, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson, Jim Harbaugh, these are all dudes who are older. Andy Reid, if you got Andy Reid, Ben Johnson, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Ben Johnson's going to be the youngest guy in that division in the AFC West. Andy Reid, I think if they win the three-peat, I would not be surprised if he retires in a year or two. Jim Harbaugh, who knows how long he's going to go. He's in his 60s. Sean Payton, I think, still has about 3 to 4 more years in him. But if Ben Johnson has one of those 10-year contracts with the Raiders and you're willing to sort of kind of fight and claw for about 4 years, you could run that division really easily in about 3 years, I would say. I mean, I'm talking a little bit out of my ass here, but all these head coaches are older. They're older. When you're in the NFC North, you're going against a lot of people. With the Vikings, you got a hotshot coach in Kevin O'Connell who's going to be there for a long time. Dan Campbell is going to be there with the Lions for a long time. These are all guys you're going to have to go against for the rest of your career rather than just the first half of your coaching career.
Ben Johnson needs to take one of these jobs, and he's going to take one of these jobs. But can you imagine bypassing Jaden Daniels last year and then taking the Raiders job over that? Because Tom Brady is the I get it. Tom is incredible.
I mean, that is crazy that he could have had Jaden Daniels in the Commanders' job last year. I mean, now that we're seeing how Jaden Daniels is doing, maybe he should have grabbed that.
He's impressive. But the Raiders have so much ground to make up right now, especially in that division. And that, to me, is what they have to overcome here. Now,
okay. It really doesn't matter what this dude thinks. This is the same dude who said that he believes the Raiders, and look, he's right about some things, not right about everything. You can't be right about everything. Adam Schefter is just trying to say what he believes is happening based on people he's talking to. That could be right or wrong. That could be smoke screens. He thought Antonio Pierce was going to be safe for the Raiders head coaching job. Same thing with GM Tom Telesco. He was wrong. So clearly he doesn't know everything happening with the Raiders, not able to predict what's happening inside the building right now. Maybe he'll get a source in the future, but that's just what's happening. So regardless if Schefter or anybody thinks it's a good idea for Ben Johnson to join the Raiders, is it happening? That's all that matters. Is it going to happen regardless? There's a lot of people who are also credible sources who are saying some things that make it sound like it's going down whether people like it or not. Mike Florio on the Dan Patrick Show.
Why is the coaching carousel slowed down?
Because there's only two guys who are no-brainers willing to go. Not every guy wants to be the guy at the front of the room. I've heard that Ben Johnson relishes his current role as mad scientist, coming up with all these trick plays, running the offense, and not dealing with the pressure of being the head coach. Look at what Dan Campbell has to deal with. I mean, he got doxxed. They had people show up at his house. When you're the
yeah, dude, coaches are getting doxxed. Caleb Williams' phone number is getting leaked. This is crazy.
Offensive coordinator, that doesn't happen. When you're the head coach, that happens. And alignment has been the word most associated with Ben Johnson. He wants alignment with the front office. So you look at some of these jobs where there's a GM that maybe isn't going to be as aligned. And then you look at the Raiders, where 2 days after they fired the head coach, they cleared out the GM. The alignment is more likely going to be in Vegas if he chooses that job. And all indications when you talk to people around the league are the Raiders really want him. The question is, does he want to leave the Lions for anyone, specifically a Raiders team that needs a lot of help to become a contender?
So that's huge, man. Basically, it seems like Ben Johnson is valuing power over everything. Can he run the show himself? Can he choose his own GM? Will he be able to dictate football moves? Is he going to have to work under Ryan Poles with the Chicago Bears or work under Trent Baalke, the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars? Both of those things, including perhaps Mickey Loomis of the New Orleans Saints, all three of those teams, you're going to pretty much have a guy who's going to be an impediment to what you want to do. The only person in Ben Johnson's way in terms of making football decisions with the Raiders is Tom Brady. And maybe Tom Brady has given Ben Johnson assurances that, hey, dude, don't worry. You're going to be calling the shots. Your decision-making is going to rank priority here, and you're going to perhaps be able to choose your own general manager. So if that matters more to Ben Johnson, which it seems like it does according to all these insiders, that could be what causes Ben Johnson to be the next head coach of the Raiders and completely change everything. And we got a really juicy receipt coming up that shows that it's a wrap. I mean, I believe he is already, based on what's being said here, I think they let it slip that he's already the head coach of the Raiders. We'll show you that after this.
Because it might close by next year. Johnson has the confidence, and it's backed up by having a great team on the field that he's working with, that the window is going to stay open. So I don't have to go this year. He didn't go last year. You wait for the right spot. The problem is these jobs rarely come open because the team looking for a coach is a properly functioning NFL franchise. Every team, unless you have a retirement when the guy walks away and the team's on top, every team that's looking for a coach is a bad team that is trying to find a way to get better. So you go into a dysfunctional situation. 2 or 3 years later, you get fired. You have that scarlet letter on your coaching resume, and then you go back to being a coordinator. I think Johnson understands that, and it makes him reluctant to just take whatever comes along. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but number one is alignment, and if he doesn't have the alignment, he's not leaving. And I think this year, when you look at the jobs out there, you look at the teams that have interviewed him, like the Jets are at least sufficiently self-aware to not even bother to try to interview Ben Johnson, right? So I give them credit there. They know what they are. But I think it's the Raiders or Lions. Take that Raiders job or stay put for Ben Johnson.
Ooh, you gotta love the sound of that if you're a Raiders fan. It is the Raiders or the Lions. And that's a really good point that he brought up. We know the Jets, Woody Johnson, the owner, meddles in the affairs, meddles in the front office affairs. His Gen Z son calls some of the shots, who gets his views from the internet. And they didn't even bother interviewing Ben Johnson. Why would they not try to interview Ben Johnson, the hottest head coaching candidate? Because they know that he'll reject them, and it's a complete waste of time. That's a really good point that shows that him being able to choose his own GM and have power matters the most. And there's no other team besides the Raiders available right now where he can do that. Now, let me just show you the craziest thing. And this happened on the Pat McAfee show. Adam Pac-Man Jones, who used to be a co-host there, former defensive back. They were talking about the Deion Sanders to Raiders rumors, because there was talk that Deion does want the Raiders job just because it gave him the opportunity to coach his sons. You had Max Crosby talk about his relationship with the Sanders family today, and that's just been a story out there, and it seems like it is true. And Adam Pac-Man Jones seemed to confirm that earlier, that Deion Sanders was interested in the Raiders just because he has the chance to coach his son, which is like a rare once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but doesn't seem like the Raiders are interested in Deion Sanders.
Coach Prime for a long time. My brother actually a long time. Coach Prime for a long time. My brother actually was roommates with his son, Bucky, Deion Jr. So they go way back. So Deion's whole family, I remember seeing Shedeur when he was a little kid. I was at their house in Texas.
Really? So he knows them really well, and the rumors for the Deion Sanders are so crazy that even Crosby's being asked about, would you want to see Coach Prime coach the Raiders?
I mean, if Deion Sanders was my coach, how could I be mad? You know what I mean? So I'm
right. He's not going to say anything too crazy, but he's basically saying, hey, wait, he's friends with them, friends with Shedeur and all that. But what was really interesting here is his source seems to be Deion Sanders, because Deion wants the Raiders job. Seems like he wanted it more than the Cowboys job. And Adam Pac-Man Jones is saying that Deion knows the Raiders don't want him. And the reason he knows has a lot to do with my favorite BJ ever this offseason, Ben Johnson.
Okay. Unless he was able to coach both his sons, which I don't think that's possible, because sources says that Ben Johnson is going to be the Raiders coach.
Okay.
Like real good sources, like I'm talking about like real good sources, as we shall say. I don't think Deion is going nowhere. I think it was good entertainment.
Okay.
Oh, and that, dude, that honestly, this is the biggest story. Adam Pac-Man Jones has his shades on. I don't know if he's like me and he partaked in anything before going on video. I've done it before. I'm not judging. Seems like he went a little bit loose with it and let some things slip. And he let it slip that really good sources, meaning Deion Sanders, told him that the Raiders are hiring Ben Johnson. So he knows he can't coach the Raiders. He knows he can't coach Deion, knows he can't coach the Raiders, knows he can't coach his son, because he also knows, probably from his really good friend, Tom Brady. You guys know how Deion Sanders is really good friends with Tom Brady, right? We've done videos about this. Brady's helped train Shedeur Sanders. They're good friends. They got each other's phone numbers. They talk. And Deion Sanders knows, according to Pac-Man Jones, and we'll find out if Pac-Man's full of shit. I don't think he's full of shit. That Deion knows Ben Johnson's going to the Raiders, so he knows it's a wash for Deion to coach Shedeur in Vegas. That is huge, baby. That is huge. That is the news we needed to hear today. So all these people are flipping out about Ben Johnson going up against this tough competition in the AFC West. And that's pretty much the main argument. Why would you want to go in the toughest division, right? Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe Ben Johnson is not scared. Maybe this dude is just not scared. And that excites me. That excites me that the dude is saying, you know what? I know all three of these other teams made the playoffs. I know all three of these other teams have their franchise quarterback, but I think I could beat them. If he joins the Raiders, which it seems like we're just waiting until the Lions get knocked out of the playoffs until he joins the Raiders, it seems like he's saying, you know what? I'm down to play this video game on all Madden mode. I don't need to do it on all pro mode or rookie mode. I'm going to go ahead and do it on all Madden mode. So, look, if that's what you wanted to see this shit happen. You wanted to see this shit happen where Ben Johnson joins the Raiders. I think it's going to happen. Now, what he's going to do with the quarterback position, this is an idea that I floated around during the stream when Tom Telesco was fired during my last live stream before this. But there's an idea that Hendon Hooker, the former third-round pick out of Tennessee, could be leaving with Ben Johnson. Maybe Ben Johnson already has his quarterback who he knows he can compete with against the rest of the AFC West. Now, keep in mind, this guy has been the backup with the Lions. He's been learning their scheme with Ben Johnson. So, what better person to be in position to take over than somebody like Hendon Hooker if you're Ben Johnson? You've been training this guy. You've been giving him the playbook. This guy is freakishly athletic. People just question whether or not he'd be able to transition to the NFL because Tennessee did not have an intricate scheme. That was his criticism coming into the draft. But if Ben Johnson's been training this dude for about 2 seasons, 2 full seasons. Then you're going to have a third off season. That's plenty of time for this guy to know all the plays. We've seen him play in preseason as well. So that'd be very huge. I would guess that Hendon Hooker would be minimum a 3rd round pick for the Raiders to trade for him. Maybe the Lions do Ben Johnson a solid, make it cheaper. Probably not. But he was a 3rd round pick in 2023. Maybe you can get away with a 4th round pick because you only have 2 years left on his contract. But I would not be surprised, and I think this would be the smart move for the Raiders and Ben Johnson. You grab Ben Johnson, let Aiden O'Connell continue to be your backup quarterback, bring in Hendon Hooker on a 3rd round pick, maybe a 2nd round pick if you get fleeced by the Lions, and have that be your quarterback room. Unless there's a dude throughout the draft prospect that you truly believe in, and we've been hearing a lot that this draft class is not that great compared to some of these others. And there's an open question as to whether or not there's even going to be many 1st round pick QBs. There might only be 1, maybe only 2. Then if you're the Raiders, roll with Hendon Hooker and Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell is obviously not mobile, but when he has time, he can be a productive quarterback in the NFL. He proved that last year. And I'm somebody who was not sold on Aiden O'Connell, did not want him to be anywhere close to QB1 for the Raiders. But he really did win me over in a partial way towards the back end of last season, where I'm just like, dude, this guy's competing against the Chiefs. This guy's putting this Raiders team that has a lot of problems in a position to win. And yeah, he screws up with a turnover sometimes. Yeah, he holds onto the football too long. Yeah, he can't scramble. But when he's got things going good around him, he's a great QB2, maybe even a QB1 in the future. But I think Hendon Hooker has that potential to be that playmaker, that franchise quarterback, that dual threat quarterback that everybody pays big money for today in the NFL. I think Hendon Hooker has the opportunity to do that. And what better person to help him do that than somebody like Ben Johnson in a Raiders uniform, going from Detroit to Vegas. I like it. So this Ben Johnson thing, man. Now you still have Adam Schefter, and this was just today, January 17th on Friday, saying that Ben Johnson to the Raiders is not a lock, and he's basically still believing that it's possible the Bears swoop in and Caleb Williams gets Ben Johnson.
You think back to last year when Ben Johnson was like, I'm going to be very...
Gathered a whole lot of steam, and I don't want to slow it down because, by the way, I want to say for the record, it could happen. And I know that this Raiders freight train has gathered a whole lot of steam, and I don't want to slow it down because, by the way, I want to say for the record, it could happen. He could be the coach there. But I am not just convinced just yet that that's going to be the way it's going to be. When we're talking about picking situations, if you're picking the Raiders, you're telling me that Ben Johnson turned down the chance to go coach Jaden Daniels last year, turned that down so he could go to a place this year in Las Vegas without a top pick, without a quarterback that plays in a division with Patrick Mahomes.
So the same point. You got no QB, and it's a tough division. Players come and go, right? But the organizational structure stays the same. And I think it makes sense that Ben Johnson's going for organizational structure, power, over who's on the roster right now. The roster changes every year.
Talk about the NFC North, though. He knows what the NFC North is through 2 up.
All right. So we've exhausted that. But there you have it.
Teams waiting and waiting.
And we are waiting. So the Raiders have interviewed 8 candidates so far. They're interviewing Ron Rivera, former Commanders head coach today. Robert Saleh, they interviewed him today on Friday. They've interviewed former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn of the Detroit Lions, and also Vance Joseph of the Broncos, Todd Monken of the Ravens, along with Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. So based on this, they are Rooney Rule compliant. The Raiders could hire somebody at any moment. I think they're just waiting, like I said earlier, for Ben Johnson to either win the Super Bowl or get knocked out of the playoffs. Then boom, he's going to be announced as the Raiders head coach, and the press conference is going to happen, and things are going to move quite quickly. I could see that happening. It seems like it's inevitable if Pac-Man Jones is correct. Believe so. Please don't hire Ron Rivera, Raiders. Don't let us end up. If we don't get Ben Johnson, please do not hire Ron Rivera. Please. But it's getting freaky here. Las Vegas Review Journal is the one who pointed out, I mean, this was clipped up all over the internet, the Pac-Man Jones. Ben Johnson will end up in Vegas and Kellen Moore will be the coach in Dallas is what they're predicting now. This changes so much, though, dude. We hear this crap change so much. So, I wanted to talk about, yeah, maybe we should, don't. I would be the shittiest head coach ever. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Let me make sure I got my my thingamajig here. I'm gonna grab some stuff for us to share and talk about. We're gonna do a couple more stories, and we will also be live tomorrow, Saturday. Should be quite interesting to see what happens there. But we'll be live Saturday night. Pretty late. I mean, I would like to get started earlier, but the games are just going on pretty late.
That was Jack.
Where is that video of... grab some stuff. Where is that video? Okay.
On Wednesday.
All right, let me just grab some.
Night defensive.
Okay. Don't worry, guys. It'll be worth it. What's your guys' favorite Jack Del Rio moment? We got to talk about Jack Del Rio. So, what's your guys' favorite moment from the guy in 2016? Let's see some shit. Don't worry, we got it. Huh. I'm trying to see. 7 years ago. Wow. Wow. Okay. Jeff Henders going for 2 against the Saints to avoid overtime in 2016. That was a great moment. Appreciate you, Jeff Henders. And I like to remind Saints fans who hate on Derek Carr is 2-0 against Drew Brees and Sean Payton and the Saints. 2-0 against them. And that's with 2 different head coaches. One with Jack Del Rio, like you're talking about, and also with John Gruden as well. So 2-0. 2-0, baby. Better than 0-2. Better than 0-2. But that was a really special moment. Del Rio celebrating that. So we'll load up some of that too. So Jack Del Rio is back in the news and things are going completely downhill. The former Raiders head coach, the former Commanders defensive coordinator, keeps going downhill in his career. And this latest thing led to his arrest. And we got to break this down, man. It is quite sad to see kind of the downfall of Jack Del Rio. It was just not too long ago in 2016, roughly what, 8 years ago, I think almost 9 at this point, that this guy was leading the best Raiders season we've seen since 2002. And still to this day, in terms of wins or losses, Jack Del Rio has had the best record for the Raiders since 2002. In that 2016 season, when he went for 2 against the Saints in the opening day of 2016.
Go, man. Can't hear the wind. That's right, man.
He was getting dubs with Derek Carr in Oakland.
1 down, 15 more to go. Can't express, man. Last year we learned how to compete. This year we know how to win. Hell of a job. Hey, we have so many things to clean up, but guess what? What kind of smile are we going to have on our face, right? Man, that was so gritty. Man, that was so good. You hung in there. A lot of things are going to go better for us this year. But guess what? What's it all about? Just win, baby. That's what it's about.
And there you go, dude.
Hey, hell of a job. Hell of a job as a football team, hanging in there and saying, hell yes, I'm going to get it done today. Somehow or another, I'm going to get it done today. I'm proud of you guys. Here we go, man. Bring it up.
And you can see, man, he had the swagger. He had the confidence. He pretty much felt like he was on top of the world. He really was on top of the world at this point. We forget that around this moment, because it's been so long since the Raiders were this dominant, that the Raiders were considered Super Bowl favorites when Jack Del Rio was there in 2016. Now, things went downhill. We'll talk about the downhill. And I think actually the way things went downhill is pretty much why things continued to go downhill. What initially was his problem with the Raiders, I believe led to his inevitable downfall. And just, isn't this crazy just to go back in time and see Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. And look at this question. Are the Raiders Super Bowl contenders? That's what we were talking about in 2016. And it feels so long ago.
It's not 15 teams. It's not even 10 teams. If we look at the Oakland Raiders right now,
yes,
a legitimate argument could be made to one of the top 5 teams in the NFL.
Wait, but I want to go back for a second. The point is, if the question is, could they possibly win a Super Bowl? There are many teams, in my opinion, that get hot at the end of the season, good enough to squeak in.
So that was just the question. That was just literally the fact of the day back then. Are the Raiders one of the best teams in the NFL? That was the kind of conversations we were having. Now, the Raiders are laughed at since things have been going completely downhill. But where I think Jack Del Rio started to mess up was in the 2017 season. You started to see the national anthem protest start to happen. And you also started to see, some people didn't notice this, but Jack Del Rio started to be very political on his Twitter account. His Twitter account has since been deleted. But in the 2016 election, he was criticizing, I believe, Hillary Clinton, and clearly was leaning one way for Trump in the 2016 election. Now, we're not going to talk about any of that, but I think the fact that he started to get political started to cause some problems in the locker room, especially when they started having the national anthem protest with the Colin Kaepernick thing in 2016. That started to be a big deal around the NFL, and it culminated in the Raiders kind of being at the center of that. You had Marshawn Lynch sitting down during the national anthem throughout the preseason. This started to be a big story. Marshawn Lynch in 2017 with the Raiders, he was sitting down there, and this just ended up having major attention. And it got so bad that you had, and let me see if I can find the video. So you had this happening. And then once we got to the regular season, we saw the big thing happen, which was about a few games into the regular season. And this is crazy. The Raiders were absolutely dominating in the beginning of the season. And the way that, so 2016, Raiders are great. Carr gets hurt. Unfortunately, he can't play the playoff game. Still going to run it back with Jack Del Rio and Carr in 2017. Jack Del Rio is kind of getting political, but the world is sort of getting political at the same time. Marshawn Lynch starts sitting during the anthem during the preseason. And then it's kind of like whatever though, right? Like we could just put this aside. Everybody could have their own view on whether or not you should sit during the anthem. And Mark Davis originally said, "Hey, let's not let anybody get too political here. Let's just focus at the task on the task at hand." But things were looking nice. Things were looking nice for the Raiders. The first 2 games of the 2017 season, they absolutely dominate. And this led to the famous moment for a lot of Oakland fans where you had Marshawn Lynch dancing at the Coliseum. Let me try to find the better. Yeah, right here. Yeah. So they were absolutely blowing out I believe it was the Tennessee Titans at this time, and Marshawn Lynch just dancing. And it just felt like, wow. The Raiders, after being named one of the top 5 teams in 2016, they're going to bounce back from the Derek Carr injury. Jack Del Rio in 2017, they're still going to be a dominant team. They're still going to be one of the best teams in the entire AFC. And that's what was happening then. Crabtree had 3 touchdowns in that game. That was against the Jets. They beat the Jets 42-15. And Marshawn Lynch is out there dancing, and it looks like everything's going to be great. But then things take a wild turn with the anthem protest. The Raiders are going to play at the time, Washington Redskins. The whole entire team sits down during the anthem and protests the anthem.
It's clashing tonight. Hundreds of NFL. Now,
a message of us being together.
Now at 11, sports and politics clashing tonight. Hundreds of NFL athletes kneel during the national anthem, sending a...
So it's a huge deal. The Raiders are at the center of it. It was on prime time when this happened against Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. All these players decide to kneel. Some of them don't. Right?
Some players said they don't want to talk too much about the protests. They prefer to concentrate on football. And by the way, quarterback Derek Carr did stand during the anthem.
So it was a little weird, but we didn't know where how is Carr feeling about this? And as time has passed, we have learned that basically it was just a clash at the wrong moment. Del Rio clearly would have normally had an issue with this. He let it slide. It just seemed like the players were a little bit resentful that they faced initial pushback on sitting or not sitting from Del Rio. They were originally told not to sit during the anthem. Then it continues. What gets even crazier is I believe Del Rio's wife calls out Trump. There was some stuff going on with that. Either way, I probably shouldn't even gone down that rabbit hole, but things went downhill ever since this game in 2017 for Jack Del Rio and for the Raiders. And it sucked because he just gotten a contract extension.
Have some news out of Oakland, where the Raiders have rewarded head coach Jack Del Rio with a new 4-year contract. Del Rio has certainly changed the culture in Oakland on and off the field. Owner Mark Davis.
But the Raiders went on to hire John Gruden after this season. So I feel like no matter how well, Jack Del Rio would have had to make the playoffs again. But no matter how well he would have done, there's no way he was going to come back as the Raiders head coach. And he was eventually fired after the 2017 season. I
feel like today was
and this was an emotional press conference where the guy was tearing up.
Kind of a microcosm of our year. The opportunities and lack of production, really, not good enough. Really. Kind of disappointing. That's what our year was, disappointing. So spoke with Mark Davis after the game, and Mark let me know that he's not going to be bringing me back. And so he told me, loved me and appreciated all that I did to kind of get this program going in the right direction, but that he felt the need to change. I told him how much I appreciated the opportunity he gave me, and I mean that. Very grateful. My childhood team. But it's a results business. I understand that. So, you know, I appreciate the players and coaches and all the hard work, all the effort and energy. I do believe that we have established a solid nucleus. I believe whoever comes in here has a chance to take that nucleus and go to special places, and I'll be pulling for them. So, if you have any quick questions.
So what was so crazy about this, and you're going to find this out, and it's good to know this if you haven't seen this yet, right before it happens. And we didn't see this happen last year. We saw Gerard Mayo fired immediately after the season, but Mark Davis fired Del Rio before he reached the podium, made this dude answer questions about this crap, rather than just waiting to fire him after the game, which don't think Mark Davis should have done that. Big L by him. Shitty move by Raiders owner Mark Davis. Give the guy respect. Let him more in this situation privately. Tell him this news after he does his press conference, not right before he goes to the podium. But that's what happens. And that's why the guy was tearing up there, man.
Be happy to answer them, but appreciate if you keep it kind of brief.
Do you think that's a fair decision after the success you guys had last year?
I honor the owner's decision. Like I said, it was a great honor for me to lead this organization, to get this opportunity. And I understand it's a results business. We had a great first 2 years, and this year was a big disappointment, and I can't disagree with that.
Jay, did you have any conversations with Mark before today that gave you any indication that this was possible?
No, we did not.
He told you at the stadium today, or?
Just a few minutes ago.
Is that it, guys? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So basically, the reporter, if you couldn't hear him, he said, did he tell you at the stadium today? He said just a few minutes ago. So told him. Now, look, it was a results business. He wasn't getting it done. He wasn't an offensive-minded coach, and I think that's always going to be a problem for you, especially once you have a down season. You're going to have to hope for this guy to hire the right coordinator, and he fired did not re-sign his offensive coordinator going into the season. I think that was his downfall. Regardless, I think Gruden was going to get the job anyways. Del Rio had a decent record. Didn't get another head coaching opportunity after this, which I thought was weird, and he instead became the Commanders' the Commanders' defensive coordinator. That's what happened to Jack Del Rio after this opportunity with the Raiders, ended up being the D coordinator under Ron Rivera. But then he got into hot water then when the politics stuff started popping up again. And he made a comment talking about Jan 6 and the BLM protests. And this got him into trouble and ended up being a huge deal while he was the defensive coordinator. This is 2022 in the summer as defensive coordinator of the Commanders when this happened.
Doubling down on his tweet, comparing the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol to Black Lives Matter protests. He talked about it earlier today, and our sports director, Darren Haynes, was there. And it seems like this team just loves being in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the gist of it. We'll show some more here. Basically, he compared the two events on X. I believe it was Twitter at the time. He was talking about that stuff, and that's kind of a thing that it's hard to find receipts of this now because he's deleted his Twitter account, but this was something that was happening in 2016, 2017. The guy would just make tweets that are political where it just doesn't seem like that's necessarily the right call here.
2020 aren't getting the same attention as the upcoming congressional hearings on the January 6th insurrection.
Businesses being burned down, no problem. And then we have a dust up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about, we're going to make that a major deal.
Well, first, let's get the facts straight.
So,
at least 7 people died as a result of the insurrection at the Capitol, and more than 100...
They didn't, okay. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to get into any about what people like say or think about any of this stuff, but this basically was a major blow to his career. Regardless if you agree or disagree with what he says, this had a huge impact on Jack Del Rio's career.
And every American.
Countless people on Capitol Hill were threatened.
I express myself as an American. We have that ability. I've said what I want to say, and every now and then there's some people that get offended by it.
Some of the people who may disagree are the players Jack Del Rio coaches. Most of them are African American. When I asked Del Rio what kind of effect that may have on his players, there were no concerns.
Are you concerned that some of those players are a little bit concerned about what your personal opinion?
No, I'm not.
Hours after facing the cameras, Del Rio tweeted, referencing the attack on the Capitol as a dust-up was, quote, irresponsible and negligent. And I stand by my comments condemning violence.
So that happened, and that this ended up being a major blow because he had to apologize for this, and he ended up getting fined.
Today, Del Rio apologized after calling the Capitol insurrection a dust-up. I made comments earlier today in referencing the attack that took place in the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021, referencing the situation as a dust-up was irresponsible and negligent, and I'm sorry. Del Rio saying that in a statement posted on Twitter. I stand by my comments condemning violence in communities across the country.
So it ended up being a huge thing, and obviously, people who are more on one side ripped into him, people who are on the other side praised him, but it sincerely had a big impact on Jack Del Rio because of that, he was fined $100,000.
In the NFL, the Washington Commanders have fined defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio $100,000 for his comments on the January 6th riots at our nation's capital. Del Rio cared.
So basically, he called the BLM. Basically, he got fined $100,000 because he called the BLM stuff riots and didn't call Jan 6 a riot. So Ron Rivera, the head coach of the Commanders at the time, fined him $100,000. Eventually, the Commanders moved on from Ron Rivera. Jack Del Rio obviously didn't have a defensive coordinator job after that, and he struggled to find a job since. And so he's been coaching for the longest time as an assistant at Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. He's been a assistant, I believe, with the Wisconsin Badgers. Yeah, he's been a football advisor with the Wisconsin Badgers. But he had to step down and was fired because bro had a DUI. So this happened in December of 2024. Jack Del Rio had a DUI, was moaning and begging cops to allow him to use the bathroom while in handcuffs. So awful look for Jack Del Rio in this moment, dude. And it's like so crazy to see 2016 leading one of the best teams in the NFL. Fast forward 8 years later, body cam footage, DUI.
Give me any room right there?
This is about as far as it goes. You're able to shift your hips first. It's a little easier.
Can I get anything back that I just had?
Yeah, I'll put it all in the bag.
He's chill for being drunk. Like, he's not like yelling.
So they'll all be in your property, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
He's still respectful.
At this time, you are being placed under arrest for OWI, operating a motor vehicle under the influence, okay?
Yes, sir.
So at this time, will you submit to an evidentiary chemical test of your breath?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't submit to a breathalyzer. Plays it smart. That's smart. Okay, this is kind of boring. No, it gets crazier.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply for a warrant, search warrant for your blood. Okay?
Yes, sir. Can we just take a leak, man? Can we? What the fuck?
No, I don't want to take you here right now, man.
Can I just take a leak, man?
I'm waiting to hear back from the judge still, okay?
Alright. Please. Can we go somewhere and take a leak?
Are they even moving the car?
Please. Please.
let's Baker to Meritor for illegal blood. Alright, we're going to be heading over to Meritor Hospital here, okay?
Yeah.
Breathe it out, Del Rio. Breathe it out. It's a pain from not being able to pee.
Everything, my pain, my shoulders, but I can't do that. They can't hold me back that far like that.
He's in pain. What pain? Okay.
My coworker's email address
We're just listening to this grown man moan. He must really have to leave.
Oh, motherfucker! I can't. Help me out. I can't.
I'm helping you.
I can't. This arm won't work.
Okay. Let's just get your feet out first, okay?
I can't get my feet.
Okay.
My arm won't look. My arm won't look.
Grab your foot here.
Okay.
Let's just get your feet out on the ground first.
Yeah. But my arm won't look. Help my arm.
Okay, let's get your foot hand on the door. So we just need to get your foot out first. And you'll be able to move your hips. Okay.
I can't. My arm won't look.
Okay. I just need you to sit forward here. So, are you able to bring your feet onto the ground here? Right? Lean back into the car, it's not going to ease the pain. Can you stand up here for me?
on a wheelchair?
So that was rough. Shout out to Super Awesome You. Just got off work, saw you were live. Hell yeah, appreciate you, Super Awesome You. We'll be going live Saturday night and Sunday night as well, and we're going to be going live a lot more often. And some of this content in my videos is going to be from these live streams. Now, that was rough for Jack Del Rio and that body cam footage. But to be honest, he did a lot better than I thought he was. He wasn't super rude to the police. Like we've seen Pat Mahomes Sr. be a little heated and a little entitled with the police. Jack Del Rio was saying, yes, sir, he's being respectful. He just had to piss, and that led to some viral moans. He was moaning virally, but he did get that DUI in December. The body cam footage was released. He had a miserable night. And Jack Del Rio, he ended up losing that job. He allegedly struck a street sign and then a residential fence with his vehicle in Madison, Wisconsin. That's what happened to Del Rio, unfortunately. And so that went viral in November. He wanted to just take a leak. Dude's been in the NFL for quite some time, and he had to step down at his role with the Wisconsin Badgers after receiving that DUI. But Jack Del Rio is now back in the news again. Adam Schefter reporting today that former Jags and Raiders head coach Jack Del Rio has been named the head coach of the Paris Musketeers of the European League of Football. So Jack Del Rio coming back as head coach and now going to be working on the European League of Football. I don't know the coaches that they have for other teams. I don't even know when these people play. But you could do a lot worse than Paris. This dude is going to be in Paris, France, chilling out there, playing some football games. So at least there's a little bit of positive happening. This seems to be quite an interesting league. And Jack Del Rio has just been named the head coach. They're going to be playing, looks like May 16th is the first game. Del Rio, week 1, back on the sideline as a head coach, but this time in the Euro League. Now, obviously, this is a big downgrade, and it really does suck that his career has gone so downhill, like we mentioned earlier. Started out in the 2016 as a head coach of the NFL team. Then you go ahead and have that demotion, getting fired from the Raiders. You have your defensive coordinator job with the NFL team with the Commanders. You get fined $100,000. That's not cheap. Then you eventually get let go because the regime gets let go with the Washington Commanders. You're in college football as an assistant, but then boom, you have a DUI that goes viral in 2024. But Jack Del Rio, I'm glad to see that he's fighting back. He's not just saying, you know what, I've had all this public trouble. I've had people have a bunch of attention on me. I've had people make up, create narratives about me. I keep falling in terms of where I'm at in my career, but he's still fighting to be part of the game of football. So that shows how much he loves football. He probably has enough money from his time with, these different teams to not necessarily have to take any job just to get money. Seems like it's not about the money, the reason why he's with this European League, and he's just trying to get back and be around the game, and hopefully he bounces back and comes back to the NFL eventually for Jack Del Rio. But crazy to see the body cam footage, and now he's coming back there, getting let go of Wisconsin after getting let go of the Raiders. Poof. And it sucks that TMZ released that because it's always going to be there. But at the same time, this body cam footage stuff is public. So somebody else is going to release it no matter what. So he had only joined that Wisconsin staff for a little bit. So he stepped down. I'm grateful to the university for the opportunity. I've decided to step away from my position as the team so they could focus their attention on the remainder of the season. He's barely part of that in 2024. But it just goes to show you, man, the NFL moves fast. He's still young, too, for a head coach. 61 years old. That's not young, but that's like Jim Harbaugh age. 93-94 record, 12-year NFL head coaching career. Remember, he was the head coach of the Jags for a while, too. And now in the Euro League. Hopefully this dude bounces back, though, man. Hopefully Del Rio bounces back. Give him a round of applause. Hopefully he bounces back. And maybe I will cover this since we just have a few people here. I don't even know if I want to talk about this. I don't necessarily want to talk about this, but maybe we'll talk about it soon. We'll see. Let's see. Let's do it. Okay. So I found this out of nowhere. I was shocked to see this happen. And look, dude, I am not the type of fan where I tag people in things. I do not message players or coaches. I do not tag players and coaches in posts. I don't know what I did other than say my opinion, but Antonio Pierce seems to have heard my opinion. The former Raiders head coach, Antonio Pierce, has blocked me on Twitter, Wi-Fi Willie, a content creator who mainly covers the Raiders. And literally, after Antonio Pierce was fired, I wanted to check his Twitter account. I was curious to see if he made a statement about his time with the Raiders. Maybe I could be the first to report on it on YouTube. And then I just saw this. Antonio Pierce has blocked you, meaning me, Wi-Fi Willie. And I'm going to be honest, dude. I was shocked to see this because this confirms, one, he's seen my videos or my posts. Two, he doesn't like me personally, my videos or posts. Or maybe three, maybe he just doesn't want me to see any of his posts. I'm not sure how blocking works on Twitter, but he's definitely seen some of the videos or some of my tweets about his performance with the Raiders. But I found it so odd because I'm not a troll guy. Like, what always pisses me off, and I think it's like super shitty, is when NFL fans tag a player, DM a player, say they're trash, make a post about a player and tag them in it so that they see it. I've never done anything like that to Antonio Pierce. I've never messaged him, never tagged him in anything. What I have done, and I will be honest here, I have made videos criticizing him as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And I was one of the people who, from the get-go, 11 months ago, I made this video about him, about his rise in the NFL. And I point out the positives and the negatives. And I have said the whole time, and this is my opinion, and that doesn't mean that I dislike the guy personally. It is just my opinion that I did not think he was qualified for the Raiders head coaching job. And I also thought, and I said this during the 2023 season when he took over, I thought he was getting cocky with some of his wins that he had over the Chiefs and the Chargers. And I say this in my videos. And look, I totally get why he wouldn't like me. I totally get that. I'm totally understand. I'm making videos where I plaster his face, serious on the thumbnail. But really, whenever I point out criticism of Antonio Pierce, I also don't have, it's not like it's just me saying it. I show what other people are saying. You can see this when I have what Michael Lombardi said about Antonio Pierce. I'm also just reporting on what other NFL insiders and analysts said about this head coach, saying that he, criticizing his decision-making. I did also report on the bankruptcy filing. Now, this bankruptcy filing that happened with Antonio Pierce, this was 6 months ago. Let me just clarify. I have checked Antonio Pierce's Twitter page. I've seen his posts before the start of the season. I saw this one where he had Jackson Powers Johnson, saying the Raiders chant with his chest. I've seen all these posts, and so I know the timing of when he blocked me. I know that Antonio Pierce blocked me shortly after he was fired, maybe even a week before he was fired. That is the earliest. This guy had me unblocked in December. He had me unblocked in December for sure. I don't know, Pierce. Seems like you're watching this channel right now. Maybe you could let me know when you blocked me and exactly why you blocked me, because I have said some things criticizing the guy on Twitter. I've said that I thought he's made a dumb decision making. Maybe it's dumb for the Raiders to continue hiring Antonio Pierce. I have done that stuff. I have said my opinion. But that, like I said earlier, that doesn't mean that I dislike the guy as a person. That doesn't mean that I think he's a bad person. That doesn't mean that I think that I'm wishing him any ill will. It's just literally as a fan. Because first and foremost, I do make content, but I am a fan of the Raiders. And I want the Raiders to have the best team. I want the Raiders to have the best team regardless of anything. And I would prefer that the Raiders have somebody like a Ben Johnson, somebody like a Andy Reid, somebody like a Jim Harbaugh or a Sean Payton, right? And it really has nothing to do with Antonio Pierce. He just happened to be in the way of that. And he was in a tough spot. He was in a tough spot for sure. But if you go through my post, which I'm going to try to do right now, because I'm actually curious, what have I said recently about Antonio Pierce that would have gotten him to block me? And I probably did say something that was insensitive, and that is a certain thing to maybe take into account here. And I'm going to try to learn lessons from this, because I'm not going to just assume that he's being completely irrational and like I'm super in the right or anything like that. Let me just see. Antonio Pierce, AP. I could have said something with AP. I'm not going to just assume that I'm super in the right. You know what I mean? Like I could have been a jerk or maybe insensitive. And you sometimes as a fan, you don't realize that, somebody is apparently watching your videos or seeing some of your posts. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at what I could have said recently. Because my videos, take a look at my videos. I don't really see how I could be at fault here on my videos. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, he was accused of suspect. This is probably the bankruptcy thing, which was a real thing that was news articles were reporting on his bankruptcy filing. It wasn't just me. I was literally just reading off these articles, breaking down what it means to the audience, and then giving my opinion about it, which I said it's a huge liability. And most of the time companies do credit checks, and when they hire people, clearly he wouldn't pass the credit check. That's what I said about the bankruptcy filing. And it was probably a mistake to hire this guy if he has this huge bankruptcy thing in the background. And my point was that it hasn't happened in the NFL. I literally researched which other head coaches have had a bankruptcy filing while being a head coach. And there was none other ones. There's one college guy that I could find. I did my research in this video. Now, in this one, he was accused of suspect calls by people who gamble, honestly, and were pissed off that they felt like he was playing the spread rather than trying to win the game against the Rams. And then he was criticized by other fans for smiling on the sidelines while the Raiders were losing against the Rams. I was also pointing this out. I actually, in this video, if you watch towards the end of it, and this is a sketchy video, I point out that, hey, he's probably trying his best, and these people are looking too into it. But this is what people are going to think when you make some of these bad decisions, punting and playing conservative football, not going for it on fourth down, all that kind of stuff. We're creating these allegations against us. So I'm just retelling the stuff. So in terms of my videos, yeah, it does suck to have your face on the thumbnail for this stuff. Like, this is humiliating. And then they're losing against the Chargers and all that. It does suck. But everybody goes through this. Every coach goes through this. And the reason why I don't think it was about any old video I did, because he blocked me after he was fired. We had to wait till after he was fired for him to block me. If he was upset about some of my earlier videos about him in the season, in the summer when I talked about the bankruptcy filing, maybe he would have blocked me in September or October or November. That would have made sense. But he waited till January to block me. And I've never written anything to this guy. I've made fun of fans who said you're racist, if you don't like AP. And I've done that before. I've mainly made fun of the fans who defend this guy. But AP's from Compton. I've made fun of that thing, that the fans who say, oh, he's from Compton. So, and because Raiders fans were coming after you if you did not love this guy as the head coach before the start of the 2024 season. So, yeah, And I've even said some, I went this far. I did go this far, but this was back in October when I was saying this. He should have blocked me around then if this was a problem. Saying that he created a culture where a trash team talks shit on the division rival Super Bowl champs. Now Mahomes is going to clap the Raiders' cheeks in Vegas. That's exactly what happened, although it was a little bit closer because of Aiden O'Connell the second time they played him. That wasn't in Vegas, though. However, I was criticizing this. I did not like the fact that he was braggadocious, and I openly said that. And I've even said some positive comments. If he gets the W, blah, 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 he deserves all the flowers. But it has mainly been critical about the guy. And yeah. I also was upset about the fact that he liked the post on social media when it came to the Devontae Adams trade. I thought he's made some mistakes. I've criticized the guy, but I was very surprised that he blocked me. But just shows that at least people are watching, right? And that's good. If he is watching right now, still think he would, Antonio Pierce, if you are watching right now, still think you'd make a great defensive coordinator. Still think you should get an opportunity to coach, especially as a position level in the NFL. And I was only ever critical of you as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think had it been anybody who was in his similar position, they would have faced the same criticism. And it's not like we can just avoid when cringe things happen. Like if a coach says we have the recipe to beat the Chiefs, then when you get blown out and lose the job eventually, like I wouldn't be doing my duty as a content creator if I didn't show the old videos that didn't age well when he has said that he had the recipe to beat the Chiefs. Antonio Pierce has worked in media before. He worked with the Howard Stern, had a couple spots on ESPN. He knows how this goes. So I don't know. Maybe there was something specifically that really offended him. Either way, when I look at all the stuff that people say about so many coaches around the NFL, quarterbacks, I've seen Derek Carr, the hate he gets, the threats he gets. Antonio Pierce, what he's received in terms of criticism from myself, from other people in NFL media and other content creators, it's been very light. It has been very mild, in my opinion. You could be hearing the noise that a lot of people say about some of these other coaches around the NFL, some of these other quarterbacks around the NFL. It gets harsh what these people say. So it's like, if that was too much, my videos saying my opinion, any of my little catty tweets where I say that he's unqualified or he's from Compton and it's super lame, if that was too much, it was never going to work out. Like he's got to grow thicker skin. And this shit is hard. Like, dude, like I understand, like people are super cruel online. People say super mean things. People are super unfair. And when you're a head coach, you're really in the public eye. And so I bet you some of them wonder, man, is it really worth it? When I was a coordinator, I wasn't in the public eye. I'm still getting paid. Man, you got family members seeing the criticism, all this stuff, but it happens for everyone and it is a part of the job and it is something that you do sign up for. But clearly I want, maybe he's blocked other people. I don't think so. The one thing I know about content creators, and by the way, this has been a thing for about a week. I just haven't told you guys yet. But the thing I know about content creators, and I guess I'm sort of admitting it now, is if they get any attention, good or bad, from any of these players or coaches, they bring it up, they flaunt it, right? I've actually withheld this for a little bit, but I'm showing it now because I figured that my audience would like to hear about it. But I have a feeling that he hasn't done this with other Raiders content creators because we would know about it. They would be talking about it. They would be making a post about it. They'd be like, whoa, AP blocked me. They'd be doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. If you are a Raiders content creator, let us know if this has happened to you as well. Is it just a me thing? But if I did offend you, AP, if I did offend, mainly anybody in your family with any criticism, I apologize. However, I don't regret anything because I do believe as a content creator, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And unfortunately, I know it's toxic, but it is the way that it goes. And I think there's been a lot of people who are worse than me. And I think there's been a lot of coaches around the NFL who get worse things from their fans and content creators than what I've done this season criticizing Antonio Pierce. So that's that. Antonio Pierce, the former head coach of the Raiders, blocked Wi-Fi Willie after being let go by the Raiders. So, and then let me reiterate this again. I have never slid in the guy's DMs. I have never tagged his name in anything. I am not one of those people who do that. So I've never done anything like that. So I've never forced him to interact with any of my posts, any of my content. This is all him on his own volition, choosing to block me, Wi-Fi Willie. But I truly mean this, Antonio Pierce. I truly hope it all works out for you in the end, and I truly hope you come back on top, and this ends up being a phase in your career where it was getting an opportunity early and you develop from that. I truly hope that, and I truly believe that you have the shot to do that. I just think this head coaching opportunity was too premature, but I still believe you have a shot because Antonio Pierce is still young, got a chance to become a head coach again, work your way up in the NFL like a lot of these guys are doing, were a head coach at one point, became a position coach again, assistant or coordinator. Truly, really do believe you could be a head coach again in the future. Just thought the Raiders thing in 2024 was too premature. That's all I'll say about that, Antonio Pierce. But the Raiders official channel did not block me. Like the Raiders official page. Maybe they did. Let me see. Nope, they didn't. So they moved on from it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I actually thought Antonio Pierce had thicker skin than that. Maybe he just doesn't like me. I mean, I understand. Like, I understand not liking me. I understand not liking me. I don't think I'm the coolest dude in the world. But I did think he had thicker skin. So we've covered a lot of ground today, man. We covered so many stories. I've been live since 1:30. I'm going to be live again tomorrow night, Saturday. I'm also going to be live on Sunday night. And then Monday, we're going to be doing live probably in the daytime, breaking down some of the latest news, probably mid-afternoon if I'm going to be real. But appreciate you guys, and I'm going to get to work on some more videos, be on the lookout for the content. And I really hope that this new style and this new way that we're going about doing, I always say I hope this new way that I am going about making content works out. And I know that I've been lacking in producing stuff, and trust me, it bugs me. But I think I hopefully have found some type of remedy. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, did Devontae Adams get blocked from Antonio Pierce? They feuded. Devontae Adams never blocked me. But I don't tag people and stuff. Anyways, I'm going to peace out, guys. I'm glad you guys are here. And I hope to see you guys in the future. And hopefully this works out and we start making some more banger videos. Peace.